Welcome back to the USA Dog Behavior Podcast. I'm Scott Schaefer, a certified dog behaviorist specializing in all types of canine behavior issues. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest myths about aggressive dogs and what's really going on. Aggression is the number one reason people call me for help, by far. It's also one of the most frustrating and emotional problems dog owners face. A lot of emotion with this. But here's the thing. Most of what people believe about aggressive dogs is simply not true. So many misconceptions out there. It just hurts my ears to hear some of the things that people think and even dog trainers think about dog aggression. And those myths don't just create confusion, they make the problem worse, as you can imagine, and they often prevent dogs from ever getting the help they need. In this episode, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest myths about aggressive dogs and tell you what's really going on. Along the way, I'll share real case examples from my work so you can see how these myths play out in real life. All right, myth number 1 of 5. Aggressive dogs are mean or bad. This is probably the most common belief I hear, but the truth is, aggression is not a personality trait, it's a behavior. It's how a dog communicates when they feel unsafe, stressed, or even threatened. I work with a German Shepherd recently named Max, who was called vicious all the time by his family and their friends. He lunged at visitors, barked uncontrollably, and nobody trusted him. But when I met him, it became clear he wasn't mean at all. He was just terrified. I don't care if he was a big German Shepherd. He was terrified. His early socialization had been limited, and strangers felt like a threat to him, so he was using aggression to keep them away. He was, in short, afraid. Once we worked on building his confidence and helping his family understand his body language, his so-called meanness improved. Max didn't need punishment, he needed understanding. There are really no bad dogs. There are only dogs that aren't being understood. All right, myth number 2. Aggression comes out of nowhere. Most people tell me he just snapped out of nowhere and bit this person or bit me. But here's the reality. Aggression almost never happens without warning. Dogs usually give lots of signals before a bite. Stiff posture, a hard stare, turning their heads away, an averted stare is what we call that. They're averting their stare. They don't want to look at the scary thing. Showing the whites of their eyes, also called whale eyes, or growling. The problem is people often miss or dismiss these signals. Bella, a little Cocker Spaniel I worked with, is a great example of this. She bit whenever someone tried to pick her up, and her owners thought it was completely unpredictable. But when we reviewed videos of her behavior, we saw the truth. Before biting, she froze, turned her head, that averted stare thing, and showed the whites of her eyes. She was scared. Those were clear warnings. Once her family learned to recognize and respect those signs, the so-called sudden aggression virtually stopped. Dogs rarely just snap. We just need to learn their language. And by the way, we worked with Bella over time to desensitize her to being picked up, and so they could do this with no problem at all going forward. All right, myth number 3, certain breeds are naturally aggressive. This one actually wears me out. I hear this all the time. A common question I get, and this people mean well, they just don't know. People ask me all the time, Scott, what are the aggressive breeds? Well, I can answer that. Whenever I answer this, no one believes me. All breeds, every breed. In the thousands of dogs that I've worked with, I've seen darn near every single breed listed on the AKC register and all of the mixed breeds. This one is powerful, this myth, because breed stereotypes run deep with people. But no breed has a monopoly on aggression, as I've said. Genetics may influence tendencies, that's a thing, But environment, training, and early experiences play a much bigger role. I've seen golden retrievers with severe aggression issues and pit bulls who are gentle as lambs. One recent case that comes to mind is old Diesel, a Rottweiler. Doesn't that sound scary, the name of the dog? Neighbors avoided him because he barked and lunged whenever they passed by on walks. People assumed it was his breed, a Rottweiler. But what Diesel really had was leash frustration, which is a whole another conversation, as they say. He wanted to greet people. He was really overly exuberant, but he didn't know how to express it on a leash. And when a Rottweiler is super excited and wants to come up to you, yeah, that can be kind of scary looking. Once we gave him the right training and outlets, he became much better when approaching people. We trained him that good behavior will get him to people. Bad behavior keeps him from getting to approach people. Breed wasn't his problem. His frustration was. All right, myth number 4. Punishment stops aggression. This is another one that hurts to say out loud. This hurts my ears when I hear it. Punishment is the worst thing you can do to stop aggression. Because remember, aggression, as I've said in many of my earlier episodes, aggression is a symptom. It's not the problem. So if you treat the symptom with aggression, you're almost certainly making the core issue, which is almost always fear, worse. This one is especially dangerous. Punishment can silence growling or snapping in the moment, but it doesn't solve the root problem, which we know is fear. In fact, it often makes aggression worse, as we've stated. Here's why. When we punish a dog for growling, they learn not to give that warning anymore. The growl disappears. It's called masking. Very dangerous. But the fear or stress underneath is still there. And the next time, instead of growling, they may go straight to biting when they've reached that tolerance threshold. I work with a Labrador, beautiful girl named Daisy, who was shocked with an e-collar every time she growled at guests per a dog trainer's instruction. Over time, she stopped growling. Her owners thought the problem was fixed. Oh, yay. But then Daisy started biting without warning. She knew the growl and the bark would get her a shock, so she just went right to the bark. She had learned not to growl or bark as a warning. Very dangerous. Once I instructed them to stop punishing her and started addressing her fear through positive training and gradual exposure, her aggression episodes dropped dramatically and continue to do so today. Punishment doesn't cure aggression. It just hides it until it explodes and makes it worse. Finally, myth 5. An aggressive dog can't be helped. This is the most heartbreaking myth because it leads to so many dogs being rehomed or euthanized unnecessarily. The truth is, while not every aggressive dog will become a therapy dog, that's for sure, in fact, almost none do, most can improve greatly with the right plan and management. But let me say that I definitely have had cases through the years where euthanasia was probably the best course. That's a very small percentage of the total clients that I see. And that's after we really go through everything, try everything, and we resolve that this is just too dangerous and the dog is just leading a miserable life. I could count on a couple of hands the number of dogs that this has had to happen to, but there are cases where this can't happen, but it is very rare, at least in my practice. Here's an example. Rocky, of a good case. A mixed breed rescue is one of my favorite success stories. He had bitten multiple family members around food, resource guarding, and his owners were at their breaking point. They thought he was beyond help. But with careful management, like feeding him in a safe place and behavior modification to reduce his guarding, Rocky did, in fact, improve. Over time, the biting stopped, his family kept him, and he thrived. Happy story, happy ending. So yes, aggressive dogs can be helped. There are 7 major types of aggression, and almost all of them can be addressed. Change is possible with the right kind of help, and commitment on the part of the owners. All right, let's close. So there you have it. The 5 biggest myths about aggressive dogs and what's really going on behind the behavior. Aggression isn't about bad dogs or dangerous breeds or hopeless cases. It's about communication. Dogs use aggression when they're afraid, stressed, or overwhelmed. Our job is to listen, to understand, and to give them the tools to feel safe. If your dog is showing aggression, please don't overreact and don't buy into the myths. With patience, the right plan, and professional, learned support and experienced support, most dogs can improve. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy quick insights into dog behavior, don't forget to subscribe for more bite-sized episodes and leave a review if you find these episodes helpful. You can find us at usadogbehavior.com or follow us on Facebook by searching for USA Dog Behavior. See you next time. Now go love your dog.